But Freaky Friday continues in this freaky tournament. Just when you thought that, oh, this is the exciting match and that's the dull match, that becomes the exciting match, this becomes a predictable match, it just kept seesawing. And why do we care about the seesaws? Because this is the first time that two games have happened simultaneously. And it's just super exciting because I think I ended up watching both. I do feel I'm a little like that right now, but I did end up watching both, and I know a lot of you ended up watching both as well. I've got Joy and Shaun here with me. They ended up watching both, and what has happened? Well, we're going to tell you. This is Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. We first talk about the match that finished. It's meant to be match 56, but it finished first. It finished before 55. Confusion. It's not meant to happen that way, but it did. And last ball finish. 5 to win on the last ball. Polly, obviously, Avesh Khan going for a Yorker there because you can't really hit that. Ball perhaps slips out because the previous ball slipped out, was a wide. You understand the conditions perhaps. Slips out, gets it wrong, don't know what happens. Waist high, full toss. Bharat in the kind of form that he was. High, far, 6, win of the last ball.
Yeah, brilliantly exciting. I must admit, I flicked over and had a watch and had a look-see, and it was a bit of a comedy of errors. You do talk about that ball, and with the Jew, it does become very difficult, and there was lots of smiles on the go. But if we go down to, I think it was 2 balls to go, and he bowled an absolute genuine half volley that could have been crashed over the offside. He had 2 up on mid-off and cover, and he had 2 behind square, and he got away with it. And then the next delivery, there was a 2 through a misfield, shocking misfield, another error, and then the last delivery, he just had 6 to defend. And when he bowled that delivery to Bharat, it was a wide down the leg side. Bharat basically just had to get some bat on it. And Bharat's reaction afterwards, like, oh no, I've missed the opportunity. It's gone. I could have won the game for us, but I just got some bat on it. And the guys in the dressing room were saying, going the same route. And then the next one was in the slot again, and it was up. And it seemed to take an eternity to get over the boundary, didn't it? I thought at one stage it was going to land just short, but it was enough on it. So what an exciting finish to that game. Obviously, not much really, but confidence for RCB coming in to take on Kolkata in the last game. That was all they were really after, but it was the exciting encounter of the two.
I have to say, though, that ball went so high, I thought it may hit Jeff Bezos or Richard Branson on the way down. One of them. It did, but it went over. But Joy, I mean, we praise Avesh so much, but you got to point out the fact that it was 6 to win of 1 ball and he bowled 2 bad balls.
Yeah, he bowled 2 bad balls. He didn't grip it. And then, Akshar Patel before that. And, the way they reacted, they didn't look too perturbed by it, but that was an important one because they changed ends again. And that basically set it up. So it was almost as to which team would make more mistakes in that last over. And then Avesh went and made 2 big mistakes. I mean, and you can make out Bharat made a mistake because if Bharat had got anything onto the previous ball, that was for his web. Mind you, had it been for a 4, then I think the situation would have been they would have lost the match. Had he edged it for 4, they would have lost the match, right? Because they were chasing 5. No, it would have been a super over. Sorry, it would have been a super over.
No. They needed 6. They needed 6 to win, so it would not have been a wide ball. It would have been 4. They would have been 1 shot.
They would have been 1 shot. So he tried to do, he missed, and it helped his team. It was totally bizarre, but you're absolutely right. I think what is going to be very different is that this Bangalore team is going to be a very different team from the one had they lost this match. Because there's one big thing going through their heads. They lost just 3 wickets.
Yeah.
So when you lose just 3 wickets and you go on and lose a match like this, then you ask yourself, we didn't really time our chase, did we? We didn't get our chase right. We should have closed this long back because with 3 wickets in hand, we should have then taken more risks. Obviously, something went wrong. The fact that they got across the line will give them much more confidence.
I think what we can do is if we can look at the scorecard, match summary, I think there's an interesting way to analyze. You think about Delhi. I mean, have a look at that. Prithvi Shaw and Dhawan, they got together and they put on 100 and basically 31, 35 balls. So they had 100 on the board after 10 overs. 100 on the board after 10 overs, not having lost a wicket. They lost 2 quickly and you only end up with 164 after 20. I think that's where you lose the game. That's where you've let yourself down, that no one went on to. I mean, you've got to be posting at least 180, maybe 200 if you get off to a start like that. So that will be the disappointment. And then to basically have still been good enough to claw it back and have the game won, basically, just one legal delivery away from going over the line. Majorly disappointing. But in saying that, I think they would still go with a lot of confidence into that first qualifier because of what we've seen from Chennai. I don't think their backing has been very strong, and they've got a lot of thinking to do. Not the ideal situation, but they've basically got themselves to blame, Delhi.
Yeah, they were 88 when the first wicket fell. That was 10.1. 101 when Prithvi. So both openers were gone at 101. That was in the 12th over. They've done the job. They've done it for you. If then from there you only get, 65 odd, you can't score at 7.5, 8 with all your wickets in the bag, right? And they've done that. But I got to tell you, I popped into the Hindi studio because they're covering, the Bangalore game, and that finished far earlier. I guess this is Surya and Ishant's fault because so many balls were lost and there were so many fourth umpire trips to the middle that this game fell like 5 overs behind the other one. So I popped in there, and before that last ball with 6 to win of 1 ball, obviously everyone thought Delhi's won the game. And Viru commented on that. Virendra Sehwag commented, and he said, how can Bangalore do this? How can you be just 3 down and fall short of the chase?
Exactly my point.
It's just 1 ball, Joy. It is just 1 ball between victory and defeat, and you can say it's the end of the tournament. It doesn't matter. But the psychological impact of losing it vis-a-vis winning it, the psychological positive impact on Bangalore is humongous with just 1 delivery, but it changes so many things.
You could make out by Virat's face the celebration towards the end. You should just see in his face when they finally won it, because he couldn't believe it, and they got out of jail because they should never have allowed that game to go that far. For whatever it's worth, if you have 3 wickets down, you have to mount a larger effort in over 17, 18, 19. It shouldn't be all on the 20th over. They went with the 20th over, the 50 over to get. It should never have been so much. So somewhere, and the other thing that happened, which was interesting, is that who do you think? Okay, he's got the runs. Case Bharat has got the runs. He's hit the 6. But who is the senior international batsman? The senior international batsman was Maxwell, and Maxwell allowed Bharat to take the risks. Maxwell was not taking the risks. He was allowing Bharat to take it, and it worked for them today. But
I suppose you can take it one step further. I mean, the game before that, they needed 12 of 3 deliveries. AB hits a 6. They need 6 of 2. You also banked them to get over the line on that occasion. So, yeah, you're right. They would have been licking their wounds if they'd lost 2 close encounters heading into their first eliminator. So this was a massive hit in the context of their season.
Yeah, massive hit. And Delhi is going to be, well, here's the thing. Shreyas Iyer is such a safe fielder, right? Gets AB de Villiers out. Maxwell, what was Maxwell? I think he was on 4 or 5 or something. He hadn't even started his innings when he drops that catch. And you would back Shreyas Iyer to take that catch 11 times out of 10, right? Drop it today, and, well, Maxwell, the kind of form he's in, you give him another life, and, well, you live to rue the day, as will Delhi. See, they won't be that worried because they're still on top of the points table. But these little things do tend to matter. They come. It's belief, right, Joy? We keep talking about Mumbai being a team that knows how to win finals, that knows how to win big games. Is it these small things that really add to your belief or can add to your doubt when it comes to the crunch?
Exactly. It's belief, doubt, and it's momentum as well. Momentum is a huge thing with teams. When the dressing room's going, you're winning, 1-2, 1-2, you keep winning. There's something out there in the dressing room. The moment you lose it, that it's halted. So you've got to almost reset and get the mood back and get everything back. It's not that easy. And I think today, it's excellent for Bangalore because Bangalore really needed something, because if they'd lost 2 like that, exactly as Shaun was saying, then they go to Sharjah and play Kolkata on a pitch that is far more suited to Kolkata than to them. I think they would have been in a lot more trouble. Now they have a little bit more confidence, saying, you know what, we beat possibly the best team in the tournament. We beat the best team in the tournament to come here, and we're going to lord over it. If we can beat Delhi, we can beat anybody. And that's how they should be.
Yeah. And that's what they'll be thinking, because Chennai is now going in on the back of a few losses, which means that Bangalore and Chennai now have both gone in with 18 points, right? So, but with the momentum that and current day form taken into consideration, you think Bangalore perhaps looking just slightly more positive than Chennai's. Let's have a look at the other game, the game that we were here. It's a job, it's our duty, it's our responsibility, our obligation, our formality, our love, our passion, our commitment, our integrity, our devotion. It's Mumbai v Hyderabad. Mumbai, of course, showed all those qualities. I'm not going to say them again, by getting 235. And Hyderabad has got to 193. If you see the sum total of this, it's 400, right? 400 plus runs scored. Polly, this is about 4 times what was being scored in any match before this. It's just like, where was this pitch? Who was hiding it in their pocket? Come on. Who was hiding this one? I think they showed one of the World Cup pitches today by mistake.
Yeah, maybe they got it done. But in saying that was the surface that the commentators were saying it was the same surface as, where was it? Was it Rajasthan who chased down 190 against Chennai?
It was the same one. It was the
so
400 run
I
again,
think there's a little bit more of a cement contribution into that pitch, where it just becomes hard, fast, comes onto the bat, and they must have got the cement content wrong in the mix with the clay. So I think that's the one to miss as a bowler, because it's just going to be hard work. But it was nice to see them to go well. SRH to get to 190, 42 short. I thought it was going to be 36 short. But then also you're left with questions. Manish Pandey, I mean, really?
Yeah.
The way he plays today, I mean, the frustration, I mean, the fact that guy sat on the side for the last 3 games because...
Look, can I say something? I've known Manish Pandey now for a long, long time. And here's what you don't want Manish Pandey to do. What you don't want Manish Pandey to do is think. Once he starts thinking, he overcomplicates himself. Whenever he has a target or something where he doesn't have to bother, today's match was one of those games. He didn't have to think. Didn't make it, it didn't matter in the scheme of things. He was just batting to enjoy himself. Whatever innings he's got, he made a 93 to win a championship for Kolkata. Again, what were you doing? You were chasing 200. You don't think. If you're chasing 200 in the finals and Robin Uttappa, who's your gun batsman, gets out in the first couple of overs, you don't think. The moment Manish Pandey has to make decisions about, okay, I'll go at this pace, then I don't go at this pace, or if I get out, this happens, he's in trouble. Manish Pandey plays with an open mind. He's one of the cleanest hitters in the game, which is also why, if you notice, he's a gun fielder, because fielding is so much instinct and placement and just body kinesics. And that's my thing.
Is that why they gave 235 away? Because he was the captain today.
I don't think captaincy is the strongest suit. I don't think it's the strongest suit.
Yeah,
and of course he's.
You got to look at the innings today. You're right. You got to look at that innings today and say, where was this Manish Pandey, right? And was, again, like you're saying, was it a mental thing? Because he obviously has the ability, Polly, and we've just not seen it. Hyderabad's not seen it for them.
Yeah, I think, from a team perspective, from a coaching perspective, from a management perspective, when you go down to selection, you are now starting to look at consistency. It doesn't matter what reputations come into the mix, the abilities, the 1 or 2 innings that you've seen from certain individuals, that the ability to play, you're now starting to have to pick and looking for consistency. You have to be winning games. You have to be a person who can be relied on for maybe 3 out of every 5 innings. You can't be as hit and miss as some of the people we've seen in this tournament. And when I say that, the reason why is, how many examples of there are guys who've sat on the side of the field and eventually get an opportunity to come in and just can't answer the call because they're not in the rhythm of the tournament. They haven't had enough cricket under their belts. There's countless examples. Robin Uttappa comes in, he can't get going. Safraz comes in, he faces 3 or 4 balls. Dan Christian comes in, he hasn't had a chance to bat, he can't find any form. We just go through this IPL. There's so many guys with, you think of bench strength. So that's where it goes down to a Pandey who played as much as he does for SRH, had to be more consistent. You can't have all those games under your belt and then let the team go missing for a couple of matches. And therein lies the frustration. He's a quality player. It's not like he can't do it. And with all the experience, I mean, we worked with him in 2008 and 9 at the Mumbai Indians. You can't be 12 years down the line and still not knowing how to find your consistency with the class that he has. If he didn't have that ability, we'd let it go and say, oh, well, whatever we get from him, we get from him. But we've seen too much good stuff from him. And after 12 years of playing in this format, or 13 years, whatever it may be, he can't be giving us haphazard performances.
I'll tell you who was really good today, and that was good news for Indian fans. Forget Mumbai fans, really good news for Indian fans, because the tournament for Mumbai is over, but now the World Cup's coming for India, and there was a concern. The concern was the lack of form and the lack of runs from Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav. They put that to bed today, just like they put to bed many kookaburras, because they're gone. We don't know where they are. They're somewhere in the desert, somewhere in some sand dune, some are part of some camel's dinner. But they did that today, and that was great to see. That was great to see, Joy.
No, absolutely. And I think it's important, not just for India, but see the way Surya played. Ishan, again, instinctive player, up front, go for it. You need to go 240, 50. What Surya did today was very special, because it wasn't easy to hit the ball when he was there. And the bowlers also had a better sense of their length. The way he played was absolutely sensational. I mean, 82 or 40, 13 fours, 3 sixes. And you'll see, if you look at his scoring chart, it was in the beginning, it was dominated towards, behind square on the leg side, which is what his strongest area is, because he can sweep almost anything. He can almost pick up anything off his hip. But then he started doing those shots, going over extra cover, which is, again, as Shaun said, one of his favorite shots. He manipulated fields. He did very well for them. And remember, it was a knock. It was a pressure knock. The difference between his and Manish Pandey's knock was Surya still thought he wanted to give his team a chance to win. So he needed to be there to reach 230, 240. Even if there's that smidgen of a chance, he knew I needed to go there. I can't get out at 185. Mumbai can't get out at 190. I need to at least give my bowlers this much. So I felt Surya was batting with responsibility and still delivering. And that's why, for me, his innings is much bigger for me.
Yeah, the responsibility of it. And we spoke about this, I think it was in the mid-game when we spoke about this as well, Polly, where we said that that's the thing, right? I mean, Ishan has batted, not taking anything away. We're not even comparing them, but just you have to be cognizant of the difficulty level and context and conditions. Ishan did a lot of the hitting in the power play. Surya comes in at that, and of course, and he's pushed down, right? He's pushed down. When you see that batting order, you say Hardik's gone ahead of him, Pollard's gone ahead of him, and that's the way of the team saying, well, they are kind of bigger hitters than you, Surya, because you've not given us much. And then he comes in and he says, I'll show you how it's done, right? I'll show you how it's done. The sky, he lit up the sky, did Sky.
He did. I mean, and the way he went about it was very calculated. It was a great understanding of how you can just manipulate the ball, get the ball into certain areas to pick up boundaries, and not have to overdo it. It wasn't bludgeoning. I think also they got the job of Ishan Kishan right. I think he's better suited to those first 6 overs, where he goes at the ball, and if he makes a mistake, it still clears the infield, and he can carry on going on his merry way. My question to you two is, it's great news for India that they got some runs, but do any of those two play?
Of course they play. They got to play.
Where do they play?
One's definitely going to play. In the middle of the ground, where the little square, that's where they play. No.
Yes. What position?
So one of them's got to play in the middle. You open. Virat has said that he wants to open, right? If Virat doesn't open, then Rahul opens. But I think Virat might. If Virat and Rohit open, you've got Surya at 3.
Not Rahul?
Surya, no.
You have to bring Rahul.
Not the guy who's got the most runs in the whole tournament and looked a step above everyone else.
So then you play. Okay, so then you play. Then you open with Rahul and Rohit. You play Virat at 3.
No, but Virat wants to open.
Rishabh, you can't have 3 openers, no? So let's play Rahul. So top three is Rahul, Virat, and Rohit, and you play them in whichever order you want to. Then you have Surya, Rishabh, perhaps Hardik. So one of them plays. One of Surya and Ishan plays.
Yeah, Hardik.
Yeah,
you
and
have
Jadeja.
Surya. No,
And
I
then-
don't see your difficulty is
bowlers.
you're going to try, given the fact that Hardik's not bowling too much, you're going to try and they have to play Jadeja. Okay. So
Yeah.
if Jadeja is batting at 7, then they've got to basically 4, 5, 6. Okay. If you've gotten Surya, if you've gotten Pant at 4, then only that 5 position is left where, either you play Surya or you play Hardik or you
Or
play
Ishan.
somebody.
So
Ishan
you're
at
playing Jadeja
5,
at 6, you said?
7.
No.
You're playing Jadeja at 7. You
Jadeja's
have to
playing at
play
7.
Jadeja.
So Hardik, let's say Hardik plays at 6. So then 5 is open for either Surya or Ishan if you're playing Rishabh, Rahul, Virat, Rohit. Right? That's 4.
Correct.
Your
If-
fifth batsman is
and if
Surya
you're-
/ Ishan.
So if you're playing at that position, I think Shaun will agree, you can't play Ishan. You have to play Surya because I don't think Ishan is the kind of guy who will bat at 5. It's got to be Surya then. In that's the
interesting.
case,
It's
then that's
interesting.
what the
You don't
lineup's
know.
going to look like.
It's a good thing. It's a problem of plenty. So it's a good thing, Polly. But I want to ask you about Hardik and his bowling, right? Because there hasn't been. There hasn't been any. All the matches have gone in the UAE. He's not bowled a ball. I just hope that they are saving him for India's effort at the World Cup, because the selectors did say when the team was picked that we are going to get Hardik has the ability to bowl 4 overs if required in every game. Maybe it's just that. I don't know. It is, but it could be a concern, a potential concern, because it's important for the balance, or is it not?
Yeah, I think it is hugely important for the balance to have options, and he would be one of them. I think Jadeja is key. I mean, the balance he brings as an all-rounder, but also from Hardik Pandya's own personal performance perspective, to be contributing just a few overs, it has a massive effect on you. If you're a guy who's always played a role with bat and ball, and then you get isolated into one of the areas and you only can contribute with the bat for a period of time, and you don't start getting runs, your confidence wanes. It's just the nature of the beast. It's something that you've grown up doing. It's the ability to pull confidence from the performance of the ball, or pull confidence from your performance with the bat when you have to bowl. So I think it's vitally important for him. I don't think he's structured out there with the same kind of confidence and aura that he's had in the years gone by, and it might just be down to his own little confidence not feeling where it should be, because he's not feeling like he's contributing.
Well, there was a problem that Mumbai had a lot of who would be in the Indian team. I think they had 5 or 6, I think, from the squad, and they were not getting anything from Ishan, from Surya, from Chahar. Hardik was not bowling. This Chahar was still dropped, not played today as well. They did play a leg spinner, but they went with Piyush Chawla instead of Rahul Chahar. But there's a lot of options there for India. Varun Chakravarti is there in the squad as well. So there's 5 spinners over there. But I think the Hardik question is very important. Okay, I have another question. Tricky question for the two of you. This Mumbai team, champion team, of course. I mean, they're out of the tournament today. Defending champions. They won it 2 years in a row. So obviously a champion team. And this setup, perhaps the last time that you've seen this setup together, right? Now, we don't know how many players will be retained, but if you had to retain 3 from this setup for this champion team, which would those 3 be?
Well, I would go, the first 2 are obvious for me. Rohit Sharma to continue as captain, and then Bumrah. I don't think you can leave him out. And then, I don't know, I suppose Pollard has been such an integral part of it. And then maybe you play your right to act or to match card with someone like a Surya.
It's really tough with this team.
Yeah,
it's really tough.
And then and a Hardik. I think you'd go Surya and Hardik. They get 2 cards, don't they?
No Ishan.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about him is for me, it does show you that they can actually make a team and not really consider Quinton de Kock, because he basically did the role of Quinton de Kock, the keeping and the very much the hitting at the top of the order. So I think if they had to go, they'll make sure they get one of those 2 in the auction. I think that would be the key, that they would say, we want to get one of those 2 to do the job at the top.
Joy for you?
Definitely Rohit, Bumrah choose themselves. I mean, there's no question at all of those two. My third, I'd go for Surya, just because, for no other reason, but because I think he's got a slightly longer shelf life. I think Pollard is coming towards the end of a great career. But I think Surya still gives them 2, 3 more years of really good activity. And the other thing I've learned the hard way is that Indian batsman is really the key to winning this tournament on a consistent basis. You have a core of Indian batsmen. Because see, the difference between batsmen and bowlers are fantastic. I mean, Sunil Narayan or Lasith Malinga. But Sunil Narayan and Lasith Malinga and even Bumrah may be outliers. But batsmen can literally bat 20 overs. Bowlers can't. They're going to bowl their 4 overs. So I still believe a premium on batsmen is huge, and I believe Indian batsmen are key to it. So I would say Rohit, Bumrah, Surya.
Okay, tough one. It's going to be a tough one for all the teams, actually, because we don't even know. There's 2 teams that are getting announced in a few weeks from now. That makes it 10 teams. So the next tournament is going to be longer. And longer sometimes means more drama, can also mean more dead rubbers. But if I was to ask the two of you, your favorite match this season, we've had 56 of them, your favorite match. That's perhaps a tougher, maybe an even easier question. Then Mumbai's retention question is the toughest.
It goes in such a blur that I'm just thinking.
Just name. It's not factual.
Okay, I've got my one. The Punjab failing to get over the line.
Which time?
Stop it! Don't be that guy. No, the 8 to defend. I think that was the most exciting one for me, and it was just I think we all like to write our own scripts, don't we? When you watch these matches, and you like to see a certain thing going away, a current way or thought process that you have. So to sit there and think, oh, they've got this game sorted, or maybe, it looks like they're not going to get over the line. So I think that was the most exciting one for me.
Okay, I have a confession to make that, I managed to watch considerable portions of today's match. I thought today's Delhi-Bangalore match was quite a match. Just of the shifting fortunes of how it went about, Delhi dominating the first 10, then getting stopped, then going somewhere, then finally coming back to win. So I think there were lots of script changes. It was like a Manmohan Desai film. You never knew what was happening until the end, blood was given and the hero, the match was ended with a 6 in the last ball. Perfect ending, typical, Hindi film ending, 6 of the last ball kind of. So yeah, I like this match.
Blood was given. Blood was given. And by the way, you don't have to be apologetic for checking in on that match. It's still cricket, right? I mean, here you have Shaun Pollock, who has unapologetically checked a football match while he was watching the cricket. I think watching another cricket one is just fine. I don't think it's a problem. Michael Vaughan with golf. Michael Vaughan's done that unapologetically. I'm watching the Ryder Cup right now. Yeah, it's fine. We're all sports fans at the end of the day, right? But the biggest sports fans for me, in my book, are always the ones who get the joy factor question correct, right? Always, without a doubt. So, Professor, good Professor, tell us the score.
Okay, well, I just want to say that I'm going to only ask the question, and the answer is going to be given by Shaun Pollock because he got it straight up because he played in this test match. 3 cricketers made their test debut on a single day. The first played just 1 test, the second played 5, and the third played with the Kolkata franchise, obviously of this tournament. Name any 2, or as you said, name all 3. And why was this test special, or what record was set in this test which hasn't happened before or after?
Mr. Pollock?
Guys, Shaun Pollock.
Yes, and Joy was trying to throw curveballs. It was actually the Pakistan series South Africa played. There was 3 debutants that played in Rawalpindi, Ali Nukvi, Azam Mahmood, and I can't remember who the third one was. But Azam Mahmood played for Kolkata, and I think a lot of people didn't remember that because obviously there are not a lot of Pakistan players have been involved, and he played under a British passport, and he was involved, and they both got hundreds against us. You don't forget who gets hundreds on their debut when you're playing in the game. Trust me.
But the best part of it, I'll tell you, the best part of asking this question was when Shaun answered it. Not only did he answer it, but he also said that, Ali Naqvi gave so many chances outside the off stump that he was almost like Ali Nikwi. He's going to nick it at any point.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and that's the kind of stuff that you can get only if the guy who's actually taken wickets in that match actually is there in the studio with you.
Now, we finally got him to nick it in the last test, and we went on to win the series 1-0, and that was at Fazla. But yeah, that was.
Also, I guess when the Pakistan batters are making you spend that much time in the field, you have time to think of these punchlines and gags. There's enough time through
Yeah,
the
but
game.
you see, and you see what happens is normally when you see a debutant, as a bowler, an experienced bowler, you think, there's my first wicket for the test match. Because debutant, he's going to be nervous. There's going to be a chance. So when they go in and get 100, and then the next debutant walks to the crease and gets 100, you don't forget those matches.
That trauma is real. There was a lot of trauma for people who didn't know the answer, but no trauma for the person who got the first correct answer into us. And that person is yet again Joy's other account that he signs in from to answer the questions, which is Tanmoy Chakravarti. You could have at least gone with a non-Bengali name. This is such a giveaway.
Yeah,
Joy.
Look, Tanmay Chakravarti is a medical student, I think, somewhere in Burdwan. And if I get a nick, I see blood and I faint. So there is not a hope in hell that whatever else I would have done, I wouldn't have chosen a medical student as an alibi.
Yeah, I like how you've done that because you just spoke about blood. Sean just spoke about nicks, and now you're just Nick and there's some blood. I love it. It's all just coming together at the end of the league like this. Maybe it's a full moon night. Maybe I turn into a werewolf in another 1 minute. We just need to shave. What's up? Control yourself. It's been an exciting, it's been a freaky kind of Friday, hasn't it? Before we go, let me tell you, there's a few things I want to tell you about. There's a few announcements that I need to make. These are very important. Grab your pen and paper. Pay attention. One is that we have something very cool happening for the playoffs. Remember, the playoffs start day after tomorrow. That's on Sunday, of course. And as the playoffs start on 10/10, the 10th of October, 10/10. You should have done it at 10:10 p.m. That would have made more sense. But anyway, what do I know? So on 10/10, we have a match party that's happening. Yeah, watch along, have some fun with all these lovely people. Of course, our good professor, Joy Bhattacharya, is going to be there. Bharat, you can see him. Shaimi Kher is there. Manish Pandey is there. So this is going to be really good. You really want to tune into this on Cricbuzz. This is the match party. This is for all the playoffs. So all 4 games, they are going to be here. And of course, they're going to be chatting through it. And I'm sure that, they could invite other people to the party. They could have giveaways. You could probably interact with them. I don't know. Or maybe I do know and I'm not telling. No, it's the first one. I don't know. Because I'm on a need-to-know basis with Cricbuzz, right? This is all they told me. I don't know anymore. I do know that we're going to be here tomorrow at 6 p.m. to do a little review of the league stage. Correct? That is correct, right? That is correct. Now I've said it, so we'll just have to be here now. It's just going to be a formality. Just have to be here. We have no choice. So we're going to see you tomorrow. Big thank you to Shaun Pollock. Thank you so much for being with us on this freaky Friday. Thank you so much.
All good.
And a big thank you to Professor Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you so